We know that when you start in a business, that starting it and having it, sustaining it, starts with a why. Why do you want to start the business? Defining that why, making sure that you're really clear on it. Take the steps to help you get there, and you are well on your way.
You can't be vague.
Yeah.
You know, when somebody asks you, well, why you know, because you're going to have people that ask you, well, why you want to start your business? I want to be my own boss. Okay. Everybody wants to be their own boss. Most people think they know more than their boss anyway, but that's not getting you anywhere. So you really need to be specific in detail. Welcome back. I'm Brian.
And I'm Michelle.
And this is Expertise Unleashed.
And today we're talking about the why, defining your why you start your business. So understanding and kind of articulating the whys and, unleashing your expertise, right? And starting that business. And a lot of times people don't really have a why. Sometimes the why is just, I want to make some money. Or I just think I'm going to do it. Or somebody told me that I should. And we all think that we should. But you know what? Defining that why really is kind of that precursor and will really help you in staying the course. So we're going to get into that a little bit today, and we're just going to take off from there. So Brian, I'm going to let you just kind of get into it. How about that?
That's all good. So what if I told you that the key to starting a successful business, is not starting with a business plan, it's not capital, or even having a great idea. Like Michelle said, it's about, why do you want to do this? So the definition of your why is very, very important. Now, Michelle, I just wanted to share just a quick story about one of my personal favorites. So Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, he had a very good paying job on Wall Street. The internet was just coming up, around 1993, 94. And he saw a way where he could capitalize because he knew it was going to be big. And so he left a very good paying job, started out of his house, started selling books on the internet, and then the rest is history. Then it turned into what it turned into now. But his why was because, if you really study him, was because he saw a hole that was needed to be filled, and he saw how everything was changing was going to go from, not just retail, but to purchasing things online.
Yeah. So now I am a Amazon Prime user, and I think a lot of us are, right? And Jeff Bezos, multi-billionaire now? So I think he was a good example of, sometimes defining your why is a really good idea. So let's really talk about what does defining your why mean? And when I think about defining what a why is, it's your reason for starting your business. It is the deeper purpose of what will drive you through challenges, because a lot of times you got to have a real why on what's going to keep you there. What's going to keep you, that deeper purpose is going to help you really stay the course, because sometimes, it gets a little murky, right? Like it's not going to be all sunshine and roses on some of those days, when it's like, man, where's the customers at? Where's the clients? Where is, where's the money? So being able to really kind of define, so provide, and here are some examples, right? I want to be able to provide for my family in a really tangible way. Mm-hmm. But I want to be able to leave a legacy. The business doesn't start with you and end with you. You really can create businesses that start and they last for a long time, because I would imagine that right now, if something were to happen to Jeff Bezos, Amazon would still be moving. Think about Sam Walton in the Walmart story, right? Walmart stores are still going long after Sam Walton has gone. So being able to leave a legacy, it is being able to solve a problem, right, that you're passionate about. Sometimes it is, you know what? They say that need is the mother of invention, right? That's why people start businesses. So you want to have a clear reason why you're doing it, your purpose for getting involved, right? For starting it. And we don't want the why to be something superficial. Okay, so what do you say is just making money is kind of a superficial why?
Or I hate my boss. I don't like these people.
Yeah.
Stuff like
Somebody
that.
made me mad.
Because honestly, you're right, Michelle. When you have a real clear reason, and I'm gonna say, it needs to be bigger than you.
Absolutely.
To me, that's strictly my opinion, but it needs to be bigger than you. So when you're looking at it, those superficial reasons are not going to really help you, when it gets tough, because it's going to get tough. I'll reference Jeff Bezos again. He started in his garage, with him and I think one other guy or maybe another couple of guys, and that's it. But he felt like the need was going to be so great for the service that he was going to provide.
Yeah.
It pushed him, and so you have to keep that in the forefront. And then there's another thing too, leaving, your job and your safety and security is not an easy thing, so that why has to be very, very strong. Okay, why have I saved for 12 months or 24 months, to step away from a job, to go start a business that I don't know if it's going to last or not. I really don't know, so, that is uncomfortable in and of itself, but, your why, will help keep you going.
Absolutely. So one of the things that I want to say too, and when we're talking about things like creating that why, the Bible says, and I always love to quote the Bible, but it says, leave an inheritance for your a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. And I think it's important for you to plan for that, right? Like most people, and we wouldn't advocate for you just to, if you're somebody who works a 9-to-5, we've all worked 9-to-5 jobs and still do. So we wouldn't tell you to leave your corporate job, but you plan to leave, right? You plan on doing that. And so as you're planning for that, one of the core things is, we are planning to leave that inheritance for our children's children. So as you are doing that, that's the whole goal. So you plan for that goal. And to be able to do that is really one of those things that's really satisfying. That makes your heart feel good that you have done that. That even after you have gone, there's something left. So let's talk about, let's define what are the steps that it takes to define that why? Because sometimes it's not as simple as people might think it is, but it can be simple. So we're going to give you some steps to do it.
Okay. So number one is reflect on your current situation. Mm-hmm. What do I like about the job? What frustrates me about the job? Is do I see a need on the job, in my current role, that, maybe they haven't thought about filling, or what we call gaps. A lot of people leave because they see something. Okay, I'm working at this company and they're doing it this way, but man, if they just did these one or two things, it would skyrocket everything. And if I could be a little bit selfish and say, you know what, if God has called you and given you an idea, to go start your own business, you keep those to yourself, and maybe you may end up having a consulting business or something where you contract, with that job ultimately, but, you have to reflect on your current situation, is the first step. Ask yourself those questions. What do I love? What do I hate? Why am I doing this? What gaps can I fill? What problems can I solve? So when you're doing those things, it'll help you get a little bit clearer, when you're looking at stepping away from your corporate job.
Mm-hmm. And then I would even say, then you start asking yourself some really big questions. Like, why do I want to start a business? And why do you want to help? Who do you want to help and why? Because what that does, what impact do you want to create in the world? When you start asking yourself about who is it that I want to help? What impact do I want to have? Why do I want to help these people or these services? And why do I want to start that business? What that does is it really gets you clear on who your target market is, when you identify that target market, what is it that you're providing in terms of a product or a service, how that product or service is going to help those folks achieve the goals or the results or solve the problem that they have. And then you're able to define how you're able to create that impact in the world. Because if you're able to help, say that your business is, you're able to help people market and promote their product or service. And then those people, you're able to show them a new or more impactful way to do it quicker, simpler, faster, help them to achieve better results. Then what that does is it opens up the door for them, and then they become your raving fans. And those raving fans is the way that you are creating that impact in the world. And so that is the way that it helps. Those are part of the steps. And those aren't the only steps in this, but you ask yourself those questions and then you help yourself answer those questions. And that is just step number 2.
Right, because which feeds into step number 3, and you kind of touched on it, is just being very specific about what it is that you want to do. Again, I'll go back to, you really want to be able to sit down, and jot some things down. Okay, this is what I want to do. This is who I'm going after. This is how I can help. And this is a result that's going to come from it, and so then that'll kind of help you, okay, what kind of coach do I need to get? What kind of marketing do I need? All of those things that come along with business, being very specific, puts you on the road, to being able, to get closer to that goal of leaving your corporate job, and starting your business. So you can't be vague.
Yeah.
When somebody asks you, well, why you, because you're going to have people ask you, well, why you want to start your business? Well, I want to be my own boss. Okay. Everybody wants to be their own boss.
You're already the boss.
Most people think they know more than they boss anyway, but that's not getting you anywhere, so you really need to be specific and detailed.
Yeah. And so kind of to give an example to your point, Brian, because I think that's real cool. I think that's real important. So an example of, is I want to help small businesses streamline their processes to save time and grow sustainably. Mm-hmm. That's specific. So then when somebody asks you the question, why do you want to start your business? You got to answer. Because when you give them an answer like that, then they kind of back up off you. They're like, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? It's not, it's not something willy-nilly, or you got 10 or 15 different responses to that same question. You got one response because you've thought about it. It's clear. You know exactly what you're doing, and you can hold to it because you've asked yourself the questions and you've gotten yourself to a really good answer.
Okay, so the next step is to test your why. Mm-hmm. And what does that mean? Bounce it off some people that you trust, that you trust, people that like you, people that are going to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. Get their feedback, see what they think about it. It's sometimes, we think that if we tell people something, they're going to have certain reactions. Well, you don't know, but people that really trust you and love you, they'll say, hey, maybe I thought about this, or I thought about that, or have you looked into this, or have you looked into that, or maybe it's not the time because of your situation, but just get some feedback, from trusted people, that's in your circle, to see if, okay, I should be doing this, or am I looking at this properly?
Yeah, I think that's totally, totally good. And as a matter of fact, I have we talk about feedback, and I always like to use the phrase feed forward, because I think when you ask people, the right people, those people who are, one, going to be honest with you because they're in your circle, they're going to be honest with you. They're going to tell you the truth, and make sure that it's a broad spectrum of people. The Bible says that there's wisdom in a multitude of counsel. People can help you if you're willing. A lot of times there's gatekeepers, and you think that people are going to hold back information from you and things like that. This group, we're going to talk about a personal board of advisors. We won't do that on this show, but we're going to do that on an upcoming show so that we can tell you. But get that feedback is really feed forward, because the feed forward is you getting the information that you need around your business, around your idea, around, how you move, how you process, what it's going to take to get you where you want to go. And that's actually, you're getting that feedback, but it's really to help you go forward. So we call it feed forward. So get with some people so they can give you some feed forward. All right. And step 5 is write it down. Write the vision, make it plain. And I'm telling you, that is the number one. That is, it's the 5th step. It's in Habakkuk 2. Is it Habakkuk 2 or 4:2? Brad, why you put me on the spot like that? Go find it, then bring it back.
I think it's Habakkuk 10:17. I'm just playing.
Brian, now you got to get a real scripture, because you done marbled it and messed me up. But Habakkuk, find it, Brian, while I tell them to write this down. Write this down and make it plain, because it's so important to keep it somewhere so that all these steps, when you do this, when you write things down, number one, it helps you to embed it in your memory. And then it is a part of the process that makes it easy for you to bring it back up again, right? So we talked about, you write down what this is, the reason why you're starting this business, what your why is, who your market is, who your audience is, who your business is going to serve, the people that you want to help, the reason you want to help them. When you start writing these things down, whether you write it down in your phone, whether you write it down on a sheet of paper in a notebook, whether you put it in a journal, but write it down so that you can keep bringing it up, so you can keep seeing it. Set it as a daily reminder. You do that because the more you see it, the more it becomes a part of you, the better chance it is that it will happen. They say that 43% of people who write down their goals actually achieve them.
Right.
So write it down. It's important.
Write it down. So this has been like a quick power boost, real quick episode. We're going to do a couple of these going into 2025 because we want to just give you a jolt, and we really believe that, if God has placed something on your heart to start a business, in 2025, we know it can happen for you. We've seen things happen for us personally, so, with that being said,
I think that's it. We're going to wrap it up with that. So we want to just kind of, as a recap, we know that when you start in a business, that starting it and having it, sustaining it, starts with a why. Why do you want to start the business? Defining that why, making sure that you're really clear on it. Take the steps to help you get there, and you are well on your way. So we thank you for tuning in. It has been great chatting with you today. Make sure that you hit the like button, drop us a comment or two, share it with your friends. And Brian, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Also subscribe.
Yeah, make sure you hit like and subscribe.
So I'll end with this. Some people are meant to create a small business. Some people are meant to create a large business. And some people are meant to create empires. Which one are you?